What is a secret that could get you in serious trouble if it came out? I don't actually enjoy my mother-in-law's cooking. At all. In the year 2000. It was me who let the dogs out. I flooded the hotel on a field trip for school as I'd turned on all the taps in the men's bathroom and didn't understand why they weren't working. I'd found out later there was a 10-minute cutoff of water supply during that time but forgot to turn off the taps after turning them all. Coincidentally, a few of the taps had plugs in them that I hadn't noticed at the time. This caused 2 floors to suffer a lot of water damage, including the girls' dorm, which would cost a lot to fix. I guess this is why public places moved to push taps rather than manual. Only one person knew I'd entered that bathroom during the time period, and he kept quiet as the teacher grilled everyone. I refused to say anything as I didn't want my family to get fined and also didn't want to be ridiculed, so to this day 15 years later I've not told a soul. Except Reddit now lol. Edit. Didn't expect anyone to like this story. Thank you so much for the support guys, it's made my day. Wouldn't you like to know daddy government? Edit. I did not expect this to blow up the way it did. Thank you everyone that said amazing words and sent hopes that we won't get in trouble for what we did. Some have mentioned how it's not unprofessional, and I truly agree. However, I'm not allowed to even let her know my fiancé or where I live, on top of letting her in my car. I agree I did the right thing, but coming from a management, state and everything, it is considered unprofessional. Thank you everyone. I take care of an older lady through a home health company that is very not there for the clients. I called my office and they said they would make a note of it. A fucking note. This lady was extremely sick one day and I drove her to urgent care. She's not allowed in my car, and technically I should have called 911, but she lives extremely far from any hospital. It would have been at least 90 minutes before anyone actually showed up. So I took her. The following week she wasn't doing any better and she fell 5 times in a couple of hours. I contacted my office to let them know again. Same response. So I packed her an overnight bag. Took her dog, 13-year-old Chihuahua who gets along with my 13-year-old Chihuahua, to my apartment. And we went to urgent care with me in the room with her so I could advocate for her. Once urgent care was done, they didn't do crap this time and she refused the but she wasn't as dizzy. She stayed the night at my apartment for a couple of days so I could actually make sure she was okay. Her family is shit. The company is shit. And no one trusts the or hospital here. The nurse and me couldn't just let her go home when she was falling so much. I broke a lot of rules and I'm aware it was extremely unprofessional of me. However, I am happy she is better and that she was 5 minutes away from the hospital if she needed to go versus the 90-minute minimum wait at her home. I feel shitty for reacting the way I did, but I don't feel shitty knowing she was in a safe environment. I used to work in a call center for my country's tax agency dealing primarily with benefits. The government here gives regular payments to people under a certain income threshold which isn't that low, and so a good chunk of the population here gets those payments. A frequent type of call we would get at the call center was asking about why they didn't get the couple $100 the caller was expecting to receive as usual. One day I answered a call from a lady who didn't get her expected payment. We would get all sorts of callers. And you get a pretty good sense of when people were being legitimate and when they were telling you a sob story to play on your emotions. This lady called in about the missing payment. And was clearly trying to hide the fact that she was severely devastated about not receiving the payment. It turned out that it was her daughter's birthday the following day. And she was planning on using that money to get her birthday gift, which she now had no means of buying. I noticed when she called that she lived in the same city as me. Maybe about a 10-minute drive away. The database we have access to is the government's central taxpayer database. And it has a fuckton of info on every single taxpayer in the country. Access to any account and any bit of information on an account is highly monitored. And anything you access is strictly and demonstrably need to know access only. Even the slightest violation is an insta-fired offense. And depending on what was accessed, your termination can be accompanied with criminal charges. Needless to say, recording any bit of information and bringing it out of the office is a big no-no. But when she called, I really felt for her. It wasn't a catastrophic situation like the calls sometimes are. But there are also a lot of callers who are clearly trying to guilt you into getting something. And she was clearly beside herself. and actively trying to minimize and hide just how devastated she was that she as a single mother wasn't going to be able to get her pre-teen daughter a birthday present. After looking into the situation, there was nothing I could do to get her the missing payment. And she lived barely 10 minutes from my place. So I decided to say fuck it. I'm doing a good deed today. And memorized her street address. After work that day I went to her house. And knocked on the door. She answered. And I told her that I was walking down the street and saw a $100 bill on her lawn as I pulled it out of my pocket and asked if she had lost it. She burst into tears. And through happy sobs she told me that I had no idea about the day she's had and how timely this was. She did not refuse the bill when I gave it to her. And then gave her some cheesy line about how the universe is a mysterious place. So I mean, technically, was this a gross abuse of our country's taxpayer database? Absolutely. Did I feel bad about it? Not in the least. Lol. The first month I had my license. I hit the side mirror off of someone's car while driving down a narrow street. Nobody was around to see it and I knew my parents would freak out and be even more strict than they already were, so I panicked and kept driving. I have spent 20 years feeling guilty about this. One time when I was in a restaurant, I overheard a random couple talking about how someone had done the same to her car. I anonymously picked up their tab. Didn't really make up for my mistake, but at least made me feel a tiny bit better about what I did when I was an idiot 16-year-old. This honeypot was a success. You're all under arrest. Especially the guy who doesn't like his mother-in-law's cooking. The rat bastard son of a bitch. That I learned how to draw. Just to draw porn. Edit. Wow. This blew up. Edit. I've been getting this question asked a few times now. So I'll make it clear. I am taking commissions, just look in my profile for the artistry link. I work with a lot of dementia patients. And I wish to dear God you could just euthanize them. There is nothing more heartbreaking than watching their families desperately hold on to a person that is no longer there. They are just empty shells. They don't recognize anyone or anything. They don't remember getting hurt when they get hurt, so they become distressed very easily. I hate it. I hate it so freaking much and wish that we could just put them out to pasture. I do not really love my so anymore, and I think my so's interests, view of the world is taking a turn for the worse. So is somehow starting to get sucked into too many things that a normal sane person would dismiss outright, and it bothers me more and more. I have no actual desire to do most things. Buy anything. Go anywhere. I work to just support my family and their wants, needs in life, and I just go along with whatever goals they have in life because I feel like I've done all mine. It's a secret because it would just cause arguments and my wife wanting me to do more counseling or something with pills. And I'm good. I'm pretty happy. I just have no real goals anymore in my life for myself. I'm tapped out. I did all the things that mattered in my life. Debt-free. 6-figure job. Live overseas. Sell, own homes. 4. Create a family that's non-violent and loving. Family vacations monthly, bi-monthly. Been around the world. 2x. West to east in USA road trip. 3x. Vegas. Adopted kids. 3. Have bio kids. 2. Married. 2x. And more. Like I said. Tapped out and I'm not even 40. I had very little goal starting from a trailer park in a small town. And by time I was in my 20s I already exceeded my life goals. And just been adding to them, but now I'm out of ideas, wants, needs. Edit. Wow. Thanks for all the replies and side stories that came from this. I've never seen my alerts at 170 plus before when logging in. Lol. Hope you all have a great day. Nice try, FBI. You'll never know how many napkins I stole from the Wendy's. I know the real Scranton Strangler. I pirated a movie years ago. Shh, don't tell anyone. I tossed approximately 1,000 cannabis seeds off the beaten path in a nature preserve 15 years ago. I don't ever work. I work from home, but I spend less than an hour a day working. I have to assume everyone else does the same because my output is on par LMAO. Edit. To all interested in the job. It is horrible. We are looking for a senior Angular dev to work on the worst app I've ever seen run. It's a horrible job when you actually need to produce results but you can't even get the environment to run. On top of all this, the CEO made the app and is very proud of it, so you can't point out how horrendous it is. I'm getting a new job on Monday anyways. I used to sneak out the house in the early morning to get eaten out in a car on the dirt road behind my house. 40 years ago my twin died. What people don't know is that twin was me. I have dropped out of college 1 year before getting the degree. If my dad and stepmom find out, I might get kicked out in the streets again. Yes. I'm still unable to move out. FFS. I was a call girl for a brief period of time. My mom would never look me in the eye if she found out. I can't tell if I am actually human. I keep failing letters-based captchas. My therapist tells me that I am not the only one. I stole a car with a friend when we were 13. Went on a ride for 300 miles. Abandoned it. Hitchhiked back. No one ever knew. Had a great time. In the 70s. My daughter is pregnant, and since she's only 7 weeks I'm not allowed to tell anybody. Thank you letting me tell my secret. Imagine Dragons is my favorite band next to NICCKLE back. I cut the tag off of a mattress. I hate my father-in-law. I have absolutely no love for him. So does my wife. Technically it's her stepdad. Her mom can put it together that we all don't particularly like him. Everyone ignores him because he's such a narcissist. No one knows why she puts up with his shit. He's filthy rich, so like maybe that's why. But she has her own money too. He is leaving us, well my wife, a lot of money. And our kids. In their will. I guess greed gets the best of us and we swallow our pride. But he's the epitome of an asshole. The only silver lining I have with putting up with him is that my boys are set up for success. I hate that he has this power over our family. But that's life, I guess. As a kid I watched Bob the Builder, and when he'd ask can we fix it? In the opening, I'd sing back no we can't. Backups at work. To my personal portable 2.5 HD. Don't do daily backups either. And we produce greater than 15K new files per day. So if we have a failure late in the week, that is a few days work to redo. What can you do when the owner won't update to fiber? When you running 4XP? 5 Win 7 machines on your network and you work your brakes because of lack of resources? Not today, FBI. Some bones are best left buried. When Shaggy said, "It wasn't me, I know for a fact it was him." 14 years ago. While IT was working on my work PC. The IT guy had to step away for a moment. I used those precious 5 minutes to exploit admin control. I went to the most used company template used by 200 plus people over 100,000 times a year and added a little Easter egg in tiny font. It said frosted butts. I don't know why I did it. I just did. I talked with a coworker who is still there about a year ago. Though I have long since quit. They have used that template millions of times in the last 14 years and it's still there. I'm not as smart as my clients think I am. In 3rd grade. I cheated on my history exam. In 4th grade. I stole my Uncle Max's toupee and I glued it on my face when I was Moses in my Hebrew school play. In 5th grade. I knocked my sister Edie down the stairs and I blamed it on the dog. When my mom sent me to the summer camp for fat kids and then they served lunch, I went nuts and I pigged out and they kicked me out. But the worst thing I ever done. I mixed a pot of fake puke at home and then I went to this movie theater. Hid the puke in my jacket. Climbed up to the balcony and then, I made a noise like this. Wah 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 hua, and then I dumped it over the side. All over the people in the audience. And then, this was horrible. All the people started getting sick and throwing up all over each other. I never felt so bad in my entire life. Maybe not trouble, but a serious stress increase. I donated my eggs to a friend years before I had my daughter and the result was a set of twins. My family doesn't know because they won't understand that these are not my kids, their grandkids, their niece, nephew. If they find out, everything will explode and they will probably harass my friend. Wanting contact. So I am waiting till my parents die to tell my brother. Since he can't keep his mouth shut. Not me. But a close friend that I happened to be with when it happened. He loved breaking into vending machines back in the mid-80s to steal drinks and change. He tried breaking into one at an all-Jewish school. I'm going to leave location out. And inadvertently caused the machine to catch fire. This was on a weekend and no one was around. Burnt down almost half the school and caused them to close the school for over a year and probably a lot of money. The news ran this hate crime for weeks, and let me tell you, we were sweating that it would get out we were there and he was responsible. Lucky for us. It's the mid-80s and no cameras like today. It was all over the news and in the newspaper. They just assumed some anti-Semitic organization had targeted the school. Nope. Two fucking dumb-ass poor kids in hand-me-down clothes and bikes trying to get a fucking free Coke. When I was 15 or so, I found $60 in a Kohl's parking lot, and didn't report it on my taxes. I'm ADHD, I have no secrets. I'm the fucking worst when I have information. I have to tell someone. Even if it's in confidence. I can't keep anything to myself. I'm a cocaine addict, and one of the ways I pay for it is by having unprotected sex with one of my drug dealers. If the wrong people found out, it would be very awkward. Being gay. Edit. I hate to break the news. But I'm not gay. I actually have a girlfriend. I just meant in general. I'm actually 2 raccoons in a coat. I tried on my wife's underwear and it felt amazing. I can believe it's not butter. Porn addiction. I have sex with various older men in our church. When on the road, I used to drive to hotels around 7 or 8 in the morning and eat continental breakfast for free. I didn't read all the songs when I read Lord of the Rings. I never passed a driver's license test. When I went for my road test I failed it. Went to renew my learner's permit. And upon exiting the DMV I looked at it and saw that instead of them renewing my learner's they gave me an actual license. I went to the car and told my mom. And she told me to get my ass in the car and we left quickly. That was 30 years ago. My old masturbation videos. 'Cause I lost my old phone. I was 14 at the time. I made $4,000 from $100 in a month from gambling in stocks. I proceeded to lose just about all of it shortly after. If my family knew that I was trading at that time and that I lost $4,000, I would never hear the end of it, especially since we're deep in poverty and need just about every cent we have. I'm personally not too bothered by it anymore, and I've chalked it up as a funny story and learning experience. I live in a very wealthy town. But I'm just middle class, my husband and I don't come from money. Had our kids very young and I am a song. Our daughter was a very talented coxswain in high school, she just graduated. Very long story short, she was shafted and replaced by the kids of rich and powerful people in town. Even though she consistently outperformed them. I tried to reach out to the other parents, who run the rowing program, the athletics director and even the principal by phone and email. We have never received any response. It's almost creepy. This absolutely ruined my daughter's chance at coxing in college at any of her dream schools that she was accepted at because she is also a scholar. She chose instead to just attend an in-state state school because we can't afford to send her to more prestigious schools without the rowing scholarship she could have obtained. So, we have to just shut up and take it because we absolutely are scared to try to go up against people like this. Honestly, fuck these people and I hope karma finds them. In 1972, I was part of a crack commando unit sent to prison by a military court for a crime we didn't commit. We promptly escaped from a maximum security stockade to the Los Angeles underground. Today, still wanted by the government, I survive as a soldier of fortune. If you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you can find us, maybe you can hire the A-team. Nice try, Mom. If people knew how often I've shit my pants on accident when I fart, IBS I think, then they'd never let me pilot commercial aircraft. I met my best friend in the 7th grade, 2006-2007. We would spend almost every afternoon together as we lived in joined neighborhoods. We would 50-50 our houses. His mom would make salmon almost every time I came over because at one time I said it was my favorite. I think I was too nervous the first time I had it. She made it for me, now. This was a big deal for his family and they always fought over the crispy salmon skin. From 2006 to 2017 I ate more salmon and crispy skin than I would ever want. I don't like salmon and I hate the crispy fishy tasting skin. It's horrible. I can't even smell it when my husband cooks it. I hate it. I still have to lie to my best friend and his angel mother when I see them and she makes me my favorite food and tell them how good it is while dying inside. I can never tell them how much I hate it and it's been too long at this point. To add to this, I now teach in the same town I grew up in. I had dinner with them after school in December 2022. My best friend's mom has had a hard go of things between caring for her elderly father with dementia, she herself is in her late 60s, and caring full-time for her 4 rambunctious grandkids. This woman went out of her way to make my favorite meal that I know takes her a while to make. No one can know. I think I'm bisexual. I like both boys and girls. Nobody in my RL knows. I signed up for MickeyMouseHouseClub.com. I was supposed to be 18 to be access granted. Well, I was 12 during that time. Take that, Ratman. I downloaded a car. Noted. Thanks for letting me know so I can inform your families. I am more productive at home in less time with more free time while working remote. If I had to go back to full-time in office, I would be less productive. I'm responsible for greenlighting Velma Zipper Mouthface. In 3rd grade, I made up a book for a book report and got a 98%. I animate adult content as my job. My family thinks I 3D model for studios, which is somewhat true. But the money comes from porn animations. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like. If you would like to see more content like this in the future, subscribe and turn on notifications to be notified about future videos. Now check out one of these interesting videos.